Hey, it's Marco. In this video, I interviewed the CEO of the platform Debitum, and I really wanted to share that with you. So we talked about many topics about the platform. For example, also why it's different from other platforms because they actually offer business loans and not consumer loans like many platforms. So really dive deep into that. We also talk, of course, about the future, where he thinks the platform is going, where it's in the whole field of crowdlending is going. We talk about the latest loan originators as well. So, without further ado, let's jump right into the interview I made with the CEO of Debitum. Hi, and thank you so much for doing this interview. Can you start by introducing yourself and also your platform, Debitum?
Yeah. First, thanks, Marco, for having me in the summer. I know it's not the time that somebody wants to do some work, but so thank you for doing it in the hottest part of the summer, most likely. At least in Latvia, it's very nice weather at the moment outside, and I'm very happy. But yeah, so what about me and David a bit? Just yeah, quick intro about myself. In the IT and fintech industry, it's more than 10 years already. I started out in IT industry, and I was working with data warehouses and business intelligence tools. And one of my clients was actually Mogo, which you know from Mintos. Maybe they have the car leasing company. So I worked in the Mogo, and then from the Mogo I went to some payday loan company. Like they had Indonesia, Poland, what else? Georgia, some other plants, and then from this they also created me and Toms actually. We worked together there. We were in charge of creating a P2P platform. It was called Do Finance. It was a hit at that time, but then we were really successful in the start. But then the owners decided they want to go some different directions with some features, and then all the management were asked to leave. To see it polite. And then I'm happy that that happened, because then what happened is Do Finance is crazy at the moment. If you look now, and I'm very happy that I'm not part of it. For many years, and you cannot put blame on me for anything that happened afterwards. And from Do Finance, I actually I didn't want to do anything with fintech for a while, so I went to Credit Reform, which is international debt collection and credit worthiness check company. So it's like been around since if 1847. It started in Germany as for a beer manufacturers actually. So there was beer producers in Germany, and then somebody was not paying invoices, so they started to share the data of not paying customers, and then so it grew to the huge international debt collection company, and also a credit check for businesses. And then once Martin, the old owner of Debitum, actually no, it was Sergey, that previous CEO, who wrote to me, said, "Hey, there is opening." And at first I didn't want to go, but then then Martin said, "Hey, but I know Henrijs because we studied in same university in different years, but we know each other, and we had talked before about this licensing. Actually, like he asked my opinion how to get it, and then so I knew him already, and then they convinced me to come to Debitum, and I don't regret. So it's actually it made sense because Debitum is about business loans. I had this knowledge about IT, about how huge, because the Smogo and all this, they're huge corporations. Also, I know what didn't work out is this other paydays, and then this Do Finance, what not to do for sure. So there is some good learnings, and then this experience in global, international, debt collection company for businesses. This is like perfectly matches with Debitum and all this what needs to be done. So yeah. Then talked to my wife. Decided, okay, let's do it. Let's go. let's let's change gears and do this. And then yeah. So and at the moment, I think actually today we finally submit. Finally, we got approval from the regulator on changing the ownership of Debitum. So it's like lengthy process. And today we actually submitted the first new shareholders to the commercial register. So it's quite a big day for us, and there is one more remaining to be finalized, because it just for regulated companies it's not like like this. It's approval, check all everything, and then you can only do it. Yeah. but so it's all agreements are signed. As I said, the majority of the shares will be already submitted, and I think 1 or 2 months, and the 100% will be gone. So Martin will no longer be Debitum, like not related at all to Debitum. So this is also it kind of big news, on which we have been working for quite some time, and now actually, we're starting from this point, we can focus on the some development more, because in this process, when it's somebody is buying, somebody is selling, neither side is willing to put in money before it's finalized deal, of course, right? So that's the situation.
So, as you know, there are many platforms out there. So, how would you say Debitum is actually better or different, at least, than all the other platforms out there?
I think there are three main things that I will point out, and that altogether I think differentiates us. Number one is Debitum's track record. So for more than 5 years, we have 0% default. I think very little platforms have this. Even with licenses, not all of them have this, right? Second is that we are, yeah, of course, the licensed ones, right? So there are very few. So we are regulated, licensed, lot of audits you cannot imagine it. If if only we knew how much this we extra force we need to hire to comply with everything, and to just it's insane. But we are doing it, and it's so far it's fine. And then the third is that we are focusing and working only with businesses. So it's either business loans, factoring, no consumer loans at the moment. So and we actually want to keep this, that we are in the business side, and actually that's the reason, as I said, why I switched, because I have this knowledge how to evaluate business, whether and check the credit worthiness. I have this part also in my previous experience. And second is like this, what we I want to do here is able to, and also the new shareholders, the employees that we have hired right now, they want to do good for the society. And it's by helping businesses, right, especially small and medium ones. This is how we actually can help, and everybody can help. And businesses in them pay taxes, give jobs, so it's all good, and there's nothing bad in kind of in this. So I think these are the main 3 points: 0% default, license, and business. This is our key difference.
So, Debitum got its license at the end of 2021. What would you say was the impact of that on your platform, but also on your relation with investors?
I would divide this in two parts. First one was that once we got it, we had like in this 21, it was nice, jump with investors, everything was going good. But in 21, neither us nor other platforms who got the license, they didn't switch to the new product. There was some this time that you have to do it, right? And unfortunately, we were the first ones to switch to the licensed product. But we did it the day the war started in Ukraine, basically the night. We pushed our IT systems before the war, and then in the morning there was already war, and which meant that there was other. We could not promote it. We could not explain, because everybody is, oh my God, there is war, everything is bad. So we could not see that, oh, there's good traction with it. Later we checked when other platforms like Mintos, Twino, VMS launched the new product. They also had this decline in the users, but then it went back. So we actually had the same, just we had war on top of it. Also, what was maybe some issue from the start, since the regulation is new for the EU. The country-wise, some laws needed to be updated for the taxes, especially, right? So at first there was, if you are licensed, you have to like charge 20% tax, which was not so appealing to investors suddenly. But the Latvian government acted very quickly, and now it's went down to 5%. And if you submit some tax documents for some countries, you can get it to zero. But so it's fixed, and I actually need to say thank you to other platforms, especially Mintus, for pushing this also, because they're Mintus is quite big one, so they pushed it very hard to make it faster. And again, there was some surprise, because it was promised that it will start from the January, 1st of January 2023, but Mintus pushed so hard, so it started from mid-November. and just random day, mid-November. And again, you have to switch all the systems quickly. Yeah, so there was again some expanding. But after this, I think this regulation is helping us. And what we see in the market, first of all, why we did the regulation, there was some surveys that people are like, if they want to invest more, they need some safety. And they say, come on, guys, get regulated. Otherwise, it's not serious. I mean, are you serious or not? I mean, we're raising millions, it's not hundreds of thousands, but millions of euros. So it just makes sense. And secondly, now when we speak, there are some conferences we participate, and other platforms that are not yet licensed, they're actually going to be licensed. So there will be less and less non-licensed platforms. And I think in the end you'll be able to see what is real and what is possibly a scam. Because when you're regulated, it's everything is like protected 100 times for investor, and it's yeah, you cannot be a scam anymore. It's pretty clear that it is a real thing, right? And everything is done according to the plan. So I think it's in then we are although there was this fall in the start and the war and the stock market crash, but which affected. So we cannot say it was maybe not so, but now we see that it's helping us, and since we were the first ones, I think it will it will help us in the future. And for sure, we are the first ones licensed in business loans. So and we still are only one. So it's good. No. I mean, the team is hired, so everything is fine, and learning is done. So now, as I said, full speed ahead, and I guess we will discuss later what's ahead for us. But yeah.
So Debitum mostly focuses on business loans, whereas other platforms focuses on offering consumer loans to investors. What would you say are the advantages, but also possible drawbacks of investing in business loans rather than consumer loans?
Yeah, so advantage is that in business there is no GDPR, first of all. So we, as Debitum, we are not lenders. We are not crowdfunding. We are refinancing somebody's issued loans. So we can get all information. There is nothing that they cannot share. One, we do this evaluation of our partners that we attract money. So we get full information. We have with some partners we have APIs. We see like everything online, who they issue money to whom, etc., etc. So this is for us from the safety, because in Debitum most of the portfolio is to unrelated companies. Biggest share of Debitum is not related to Debitum, and then to keep 0% default. This is very important. Secondly, when so how we evaluate the companies that we borrow on, so how we expect them to borrow money is to see. So we know the interest rate, like all the cost. We know how much investor gets, right? How much is our commission from the LO, and then we see whether this loan, like this cost for the capital, makes sense in the business model. For the company, you can see the business model. For the consumer, you don't know what's like their actual income. For the company, you see exactly what's their income, what's the plan, what's the product, what's and it's simple math. You plug it in, you see with this rate can they grow or they cannot they grow. If it's like too much, there's no need for us to collaborate. So it's and secondly, when the amounts are much bigger, right? So consumer loans are like in Asia countries like starting from €5, yeah, and then of course in some countries like I don't know 1,000, 5,000 euros, but it's very low amounts. Here in business it's like 5,000, 20,000, 50, 100, etc. So so you do less a check per loan, right, as the companies do, but it's a bigger amount, and you get more information, and it's very detailed, and there's nothing you can hide. So this I think is the main advantage: full transparency, and you just plug in numbers. Makes sense or doesn't make sense. It's super simple. Secondly, what's this? So this is like from the acceleration part. But secondly, so again, as if we go back to the 0% default, it's collateral. Business can provide collateral. We don't work if business cannot provide some collateral to us. That we just don't take them. And collateral for business can be machinery, land, property, lots of things. We have, triple dragon. There is Google guarantee, Apple guarantee, Canadian government tax guarantee, etc. I mean, a lot of things which we cannot take for consumer. No, it does. It will, even if you take like personal guarantee for some. Imagine some guy in Kenya who borrowed 20 euros gives some guarantee. I mean, it's nothing. It's maybe he will pay it back or maybe he will not. So So I think these are the two factors that we can evaluate full transparency, and second, that we can take actual collateral that in case things would go bad, there would be something, right? So the same actually, I mean, I will mention so about Ukraine that we had assets, so investments in Ukraine, but they were all backed by the cars. So and even though there is war, there's situation is bad, but it's like set in stone. Of course, cars can be destroyed, etc., etc. But I mean, they're not destroyed. We can follow them there with GPSs. We can. So we are just waiting, for Ukraine to lift this. Money transfer ban, and we are actually in the process of restructuring this portfolio so investors can get 100% back. And this is how we know that okay, they will get something back because we have the real thing. It's not some guy who went maybe took consumer loan, went to the war and died. Yeah, so no, so that's the difference. And yeah, the consumer loans, yeah. So what is the drawback is that of course with consumer loans you can give like a lot, right, and use many loans, So the volume in numbers at least, and then it actually looks like there's a lot of investment opportunities, but they're for very small amounts. And this is when actually in our like investors, right, or some influencers, oh guys, there's a lot few places for you to invest, but actually it's yes, it's not many like in volume in numbers, but the amounts are fine. And again, in order to for us it's most important to keep the 0% default, so we're not rushing to give just more and more and more. It takes time to onboard new partners. With the regulation also we have to send information to the regulator who is our new partner, and this is how it works, and then we go step by step, but how the safety.
So I want now to move a bit to investing in general. So peer-to-peer lending is one way to invest money. There are many ways out there. You can invest in real estate, you can invest in stock markets, you can put money in the savings account. Why do you think peer-to-peer lending is a better or at least different way to invest than all the other asset classes out there?
Well, I would not say it's better for sure. It's I will give you like my household. Like I don't have my own portfolio. We have as a family, we as me and my wife, we have common portfolio of investments, and I have investment in real estate. I have investment of course in Debitum. I have investment in stocks, and I have investment in the best investment is in a old Jaguar, which is a convertible car, which I can drive when it's this weather outside. Then just appreciates in the value by the longer I keep it. So lots of different investments in all these sectors you actually mentioned, and P2P is just one of the sectors. It should be, of course. I mean, I have invested in other licensed platforms to see how they work, and yes, I keep a lot of money in Debitum because I'm CEO. I see all the accounts. I know where the money is going. So it's for me, it's a bit different than from you, right? I know more information, so it makes sense that my investment maybe in real estate and Debitum is kind of the same. But for others, it could be just a part of the portfolio. That's it. And P2P as an industry, I would say it's good because actually this last year was a good example. In P2P, there is set percentage that you will earn, let's say 10, 12, whatever percent, and usually each month you get interest payment, right? And it's like you will not double your money, but I mean you get this and you will get the interest payment. When you have real estate that you rent out, usually this percentage is like around, at least in Latvia, it's like between 7 and 8%, smaller, yeah, but you have to deal with the tenants. You have to something breaks, washing machine breaks. You have to deal this. So there's some it brings a little bit down, but of course the value of property usually by time comes up, so it evens some things out. Yeah, but you have to deal. But with P2P, just real passive income. If you set everything properly, then just sit back each month. You get interest payment. You want to take it out, you want to rent. So all in all, I think and P2P is new, right? It's what 10 years, no more or less, right? Seriously, I think started with Bondoro, right? Like in 2012. and then you so and I think it will grow, right? But it will be just this passive part of portfolio, and but it's if somebody says that this is all this 5 years ago, especially 100% probability is super secure. I mean, of course, it's not. It's still an investment. There is still risk. But again, it gives you if you have some part and you need this money, you know that you can plan for it. You don't need because with the stocks, what also happened with Debitum was that lot of there was like last summer there were many withdrawals because stock market was down or spring. I don't remember. And we also say what happens. Oh no, everything is good in Debitum. I'm in plus. I got all my percentages, but stock market went down. I want to buy more stocks now because it's undervalued. And then when the stocks bump up, then they came back. Like so nothing much in that sense happened. But so this is the difference. With stocks up and down, up and down. Here it's like okay, it's like steadily. And if you would invest in S&P 100, you know that average, for 100 years it's like 8%. You know, for P2P, like that have a good record, it's you can get 10, 12, even more, right? Depends in which one. So again, of course, P2P is new. It's only 10 years. S&P is 100 years. Blah blah blah. But that's why I'm saying it's part of portfolio. I think this is the if you need some money and steady, plannable income, this is the way to go.
I actually want now to talk a bit about the future. So, the first question would be where do you think the whole field of crowdlending, peer to peer lending is going in the coming years? And especially, maybe to guide the question a little bit, what do you think about yields? Will they go up? Will they go down? Will they stay the same? So, if you could comment on any of this, where do you think actually the future is in the crowdlending space?
I think it will more or less stay the same. Of course, with the Euribor, it will now it went a bit up. It might go down, and it depends on the how safe is investment and what are the options. How easy can you get access to the money? All this matters. But I think it will more or less stay the same. With the regulation, might be slightly decreased, but it will still be more than stocks. If you like invest in so it will be more than stocks, more than real estate. But it will not be 20% because this just as I said, you cannot have sustainable business that borrows at 20 plus commission percent unless it's some. I mean, it's like super like very good business. Then they don't need to borrow money. They do so yeah. So I think the rates will stay and again depending on the company, what again is there collateral? There's not collateral. Loans in Kenya, right? Indonesia, whatever, they will of course will have 20% most likely. It's you know super risky, and if something bad happens, you will not get your money back. It's quite simple. Don't go to how some real estate, etc. Then of course there's some expectancy, right, that you can reasonably get it back. So yeah. But the future is, I think it will grow as a sector, but other sectors will stay. I think it will just part where you do it. It's like forex trading. It was uh, everybody thought, oh, forex will take over the world. I mean, it didn't take over the world, but it is some part of the percentage that people do have it and do it. And I don't actually believe, in this last conference, again, we had this sentiment that platforms saying, oh, we are the best, we will show banks how to, how life is done. And I don't believe this. I mean, banks always win. So banks will stay, and if we start doing very well, banks will just buy us. No, it's integrate our product, and that's it. So I think it will be just some product specific niche. Regulation will come more because I said more and more platforms are doing it, and it will be more safer. And just it will be because in the end, what's happening is that we are bringing some products that were not available to consumers, like I mean consumer investors, right before. And we are just, with fintech, you can, okay, everybody, can invest in some business loans. Before it was the investors that have millions in their portfolio. Now, it's Debitum, it's actually from 10 euros now you can do it there. So it decreased it from 50 to 10. So yeah, I think that's the change. But in the end, most likely Apple will buy everything and but we'll see. Yeah. Until then, it's yeah.
So Debitum recently launched a new loan originator called Sandbox Funding. Can you actually tell us more about this new loan originator, and also because it's quite interesting, it has 12% interest rates, which actually places it at the same level as most of the consumer loans, but still it is actually made of business loans. So can you actually tell us more about this new loan originator?
Yes. So first of all, he's completely related to Debitum, at least to the new upcoming shareholders of Debitum. I will be one of them. I will be minority, but I paid for it anyway. It's not a gift or something. We fair and square bought it from Martin to grow the business further. But so the sandbox funding idea is because we with this regulation we noticed that in order to get new partnerships, it takes time to get all the paperwork for the regulator for to be approved, all this, and it takes so much time that we actually lost some very good ones that we had actually in the pipeline, but it just took too much time because they said, no, guys, we cannot wait. We got funding somewhere else while you were, doing. And so with the sandbox, there are two ideas. This is one, and second one, when we went into some conferences, some people came to us and they were mixing Debitum. They thought Debitum is crowdfunding platform. Say, hey, I have a business, and they said we have a company in Latvia that is producing for Lidl, this chain, supermarket chain, producing some cheese and milk products. And they have 10 machines. They need three more, but they have maxed out their credit line. They need 200,000. They can give us collateral, the factory or what the machines. I don't remember. Just something like. And as Debitum, we are not crowdfunding. We are actually only refinancing. So somebody, the Debitum, the difference, the Debitum refinances somebody else's money. That somebody actually believes the idea first, puts their own money at risk, and only then it goes to Debitum. Not, oh, idea, maybe it works. No, it's somebody checks, it works, and then, And then we decided, okay, so for these two categories, it makes sense that we have our sandbox, and that's why it's called sandbox funding, that the companies we would like on board as a partners, like we do the initial due diligence, we give out our own money. So by our own, I mean the shareholder money, yeah. And then we, put in debit and we see if they pay on time interest, and it's smaller amounts at first, so it's less risk, and if something happens, we can just chew it up, and there's again no default in this sense. We don't need to say, oh, there is default, so it's fine. So this is one, and then second part, if some like very good project comes, like I mentioned to you, comes and they need a very little amount of money, I don't know, 100,000. For us, it doesn't make sense to do this all regulator because it's like too little amount. But it may be a good project that we would like to finance. And then again, with the Sunfund, we can do it, and then give it on the plate to our investors. So this is the main idea why Sandbox was built, and it's actually going quite good. We already, as you see, have some couple of clients, and one of them is very close to already being, so that we can send documents to the regulator. So we hope actually that on August we have sent for regulator, and on September it's approved, and we actually work with them. But until then, of course, we still monitor if they pay on time, monthly interest, how their portfolio works, not like, and we do it with our money. So yeah. So that's the things about sandbox funding. But of course, we are still looking for new loan originators. But for us, again, as I said, it's the 0% default is very important. So we rather have little, but then again, we believe it's safe. And when sandbox, our company lends out money, it takes a lot of collateral. Like we don't also joke around. We take as much as we can. So that the investors in the end, especially when they place it in the Debitum platform, so investors can be sure that there is some real collateral. Like there will be some wood properties. There is we have some power station that produces electricity, and the client is local Riga, like municipality is buying the heat, and then there's some agreements. So all this is like kind of makes it safe.
So now, still on the future, can you actually tell us what are the plans for Debitum in the future? So you already mentioned a lot, for example, this new loan originator, but if you can share anything about new features, new loan originators maybe in the future for Debitum.
Well, so number one, we want to finalize this change of ownership that we could, announce it. So as I said, it some out of three already submitted the commercial register. We need like to submit one more, and then we can announce it. And then once it's done, at first it's very simple. We want to do things that, like, there's some must-haves that needs to be done for Debitum, which is auto invest, secondary market. So these are the first two. With auto invest, we are already in the process discussing with regulators. So it will be quite, I mean, not July or August, but I mean by soon I mean some September most likely. It will gonna be hopefully there, and then next will be secondary market. Then, so these are just things we need to do. Of course, new loan originators, as much as they are safe, and there will be more projects for sandbox, and we will strive to have that keep with the rates. Like for the new partners, they should be, like double-digit returns for sure. For the our stable loan originators, it might decrease a bit because not. I mean, let's say Triple Dragon, they have been with us I think for 3 or 4 years, and they have Google and Apple and all these guarantees, so it's pretty makes sense that it's a little bit lower. And then we of course are looking at other interesting products, like Bondor has this, that you like jump in, jump out, jump in, jump out. So again, this since we're licensed, we cannot like do like this, even if we understand how to build it right technically. But so this again, these are we are thinking, speaking with regulators. So these are the things that we want to do. Secondly, we will be more active in Telegram, in other communication channels, and we already started doing something. Let's say, for instance, we have changed this investors dashboard. What we did, we just send out information to the or the bloggers and to our investors. Say, what do you want to be changed? We got like 20 answers, and we just did what they asked. It's that simple. So actually, for investors, if you want something to be changed, just write to us, and it's very likely we will do it. Right? If it makes sense. So this is how we approach it. And then for the, let's say, more distant future, like not next 6 months, a little bit later, we want to start issuing bonds, like another financial instrument for the companies. And since here in the Baltics we have Nasdaq that is very friendly, and to some work with them, and also do some IPOs for like new companies. Do pre-IPO financing through Debitum. So a lot of ideas. Of course, this needs to be finalized with the regulator, with the Nasdaq. But this is like what we have discussed with them in this, first talks how went quite well. But again, this is, as I said, first is out and secondary market. The common things that just is not first for the platforms, and then new LOs, and this will be in process as we learn and grow. And so the plans are huge. Of course, we will grow in size and portfolio. We have some good pipeline already for this fund. There's after this last FinFellows conference, we have a huge line of fellows that want to be there, and now we don't know how to. Do we need to hire more people to evaluate them because there's different countries, regions, businesses. It takes time to process everything, but so it looks very good, and we're actually very excited. And also, since I joined the Debitum, we have slowly also changed team, more or less, so that is more ready for this regulatory part, like regulatory environment. We have people from banks, from the, like we have the companies that have worked with the fintechs, regulatory fintechs. So it's all coming together at the moment, right? So um, I think if I mean, I know from outside it looks like very quiet, like nothing's happening at the Debitum, but like if you would come to our offices, this is happening, we're doing that, and yeah, now once we like fully finalize this sale of Debitum, then yeah, again will be news, and we can actually start putting in some money that we need to build something, right? As I said, these couple of products, we can finally do it, and then we can. I think we will skyrocket very fast in this business loan sector. But again, still keeping in mind that we need 0% default.
So we covered a lot already about Debitum, about peer-to-peer lending. Can you tell us if there's anything else that you would like to add about Debitum?
Well, I think we covered main parts. As I said, we'll soon announce the changes and it will have some improvements. And Debitum as such and Sandbox, we are now focused to finance companies that in some sustainable business. So we have this energy sector, the companies that produce heating. We have like the forestry, because forestry is really hard collateral. You know knock on the tree and you see it, and tree is made into something. We'll have we'll finance. We're financing agreements. We'll finance building. This eco housing, which again will be, it's not that it's made just from the materials that are recommended, but it's like the company has this new vision how things should be, in the future made. So they are working with scientists how the building should be placed, where is the natural light, how much on that, so it's little heating. There are the solar panels, everything is together made that the construction is like as environmentally friendly as possible. So like not just the materials is eco, but like everything, the process that from starting to getting the keys, it's environmentally friendly and sustainable. So we will finance this. This is like in the nearest pipeline, and we will update the page so you can see like where do you invest and this is one thing. And second, we are actually now discussing with some other platforms um, that we could make, us and three, four more platforms, maybe some event in Germany in autumn, that we go, to some hotel where it's like good location, you can drive, fly, whatever, and then just have some panel discussions, not just like answer questions, but investors want to know because for we will, there are some conferences, in Latvia there was this one, but again, for some investors could not make it, so we're thinking maybe, okay, investors not coming to us, well, we go there, right? So this is actually what we also, discussing how we're gonna do it, and yeah, these are main topics, and of course, yeah, auto invest, which is again for us, we actually have built it in technically, but we need the regulatory approval for everything and how it should be done, and it's just yeah, this is needs to be done. And how about you? Are any plans to come to Riga or because we are open doors, and if you drop a message, we are glad to have every day. Although we are fintech, and of course people can choose to work from home or from office, but most of the people are from the office working. Accountants are not working because it's too busy with all these ideas, and they need straight numbers, not ideas. But so we'll be happy to see you, and yeah.
So now a question I asked to all the people I interview in the crowdlending, peer-to-peer lending space. If somebody is listening to this, is just starting out, what would be your advice for somebody who is really just starting out in the field of investing in peer-to-peer lending?
I think the best advice is to just Google. I mean, if you just start the industry, you just Google P2P investing, and they're like you have content about it, right? Other opinion leaders have content about Debitum, not Debitum, but the P2P sector, and you just read. This is number one to understand the concept. Second is then you have to decide where do you want to invest. What for different people there are different, maybe you want to do agriculture only, or just real estate, business, or consumers. Where what's the rate, what how fast you can get the money, all these things. Once you do this, the second is next step is actually to uh, I think the first page of each platform is very representable. If you see the platform saying 100% guaranteed, then most likely it's bullshit, right? No, I mean, there's nothing 100% guaranteed. We saw in COVID, we saw it in Ukraine. All this 100% buyback, it's usually 0% buyback, right? Or in the finance case, it was like 0.01. Yeah? So just I mean, it's professional companies. I mean, in the end, this P2P is professional investment. There should be professional investment companies, so they should be somewhat, I mean, more fintech, so a little bit more, but still somehow similar to the bank, but just more advanced, is able to click and look and something like that. It should be like all the communication should be like proper, right? And then you just check track records of the companies. You see where they're registered, if they're hiding somewhere, right? If they're running for something. The Cayman Islands, most likely something is not that great. And then if the company is, of course, since we are licensed, I would say that if the company is licensed, maybe start there. And there are many licensed. We're not only ones, right? There are many in different sectors licensed companies. And then just try out there that you see how it works, you understand. At least you know that your money is safe. And as you know, like for the at least the companies that license here in Latvia, you get up to 20,000 guaranteed by the state that the funds will be segregated, everything. So start there, and then if you go, but again, always keep reading. I mean, the situation can change, right? And just follow, but and don't, yeah, one more important, don't invest everything in PHP. I remember, like, we had this investor from Spain. I will not say the name, it's GDPR, and it doesn't matter actually. But investor from Spain who transferred us 47,350 euros in just one payment. And so since we are regular, we need to do AML and everything. And so this guy signs that he works for the church as a cleaning for the church. And it's like quite a lot of money for 47,000, even for the church in Spain. And then he says, well, I was saving this money for 20 years. And, he sends this bank account from his bank. And you can see it's, every year, a bit, a bit, a bit, a bit. And then, just in one go, comes to us. And of course, we're happy. And, it's good money. It's from the bank. And there's no problem. But I would still suggest, no, don't do it. Split it in many platforms. Like, please don't put everything in one place. Even if you really like it, just it's especially it's hard that money needs hard care, right? You cannot and then because you never know. So I think this is number one. Don't put everything in one place. There are so many good platforms. As I said, Debitum is not the only one. We have some niche, but there are some other. Just diversify. Because maybe this year is good for consumers, and then the second is not, and then for agriculture it's rainy season, and then if you put it in different places, then you kind of even it out, on the end. And of course, then the track record, right? Be aware of the new companies if they and look for the track record. There are companies, as I said, Pandora, 10 years, right? They are still going, even though they don't have assets, but there's like huge track record. So you have some expectations. There something has already happened. You know how they act. Mythos, again, against some track record. Yes, they also had some default something, but you at least know how it works, what happened, what. So everything like this, but don't put in one place. That's I think not okay.
Great, thank you so much for that. What are the best ways to find information online about Debitum and really get started with the platform if people want to?
Well, the best way. I think the best way is to just type in Debitum in P2P investing, and there, a lot of bloggers like yourself have written about us, reviews. You just compare them, see the, what's good, what's, where we should improve, and you get the picture. This is one. And second, I'm, very open. You can write us in Telegram. I will most likely respond myself. You'll get, from the shareholder, yeah, soon to become information like what's happening, and the doors are open. Yeah, everybody is welcome. Of course, it would be nice if you warn us before that we are actually on everybody on the spot at that exact time. But in general, yeah, even surprise visits are fine. Come talk to us, and second is yes, third is the we participate on these exhibitions, then online events. Finfellas organize this meetups, and yeah, just or LinkedIn as well. You can write, you can check that we are everybody from the webpage. All my colleagues, workers are real persons. They with track records, so reach out to them. to me, pretty easy. Or ask regulator. Yes, sometimes people ask regulator, is this legit company? Because our legal name is different. Our legal name is not Debitum; it's an operator. Like the and then some, and there is actually legal company named Debitum. So that's why we could not register the brand is already registered. But yeah, and then but that's about it. Yeah, you can lot of ways how to. But I think the first one is to Google, read reviews of actually the people that have experience in investment, right? And then you can reach out for some specific questions, tailor-made questions, and
Alright, thank you so much for all this amazing information about Debitum, about peer-to-peer lending and investing. I'm sure the people watching this will love it. Thank you again.
yeah, thank you for having me in the summer. I really appreciate it a lot.
Alright, so this is already the end of this interview. I really hope that you enjoyed it. I put notes just below the video and also in the podcast show notes corresponding to this interview. You will find two links. One is going directly to the website of Debitum if you just want to learn more about the platform and maybe create a free account to try out everything that we talked about inside the interview. I also put a link to my website. You will find my more detailed review about the platform where I post my own results with the Debitum platform. So I really encourage you to check that out. I really hope you enjoyed this interview. If you have any questions about it for Debitum, about peer-to-peer lending or investing in general, don't hesitate to leave that just below the video. Again, thank you for watching this video and I will see you in the next one.